Oh, hey, what's up? Well, I wanted to jump into this before I forget. We got September 17th, 1999 here. Another Shoreline Amphitheater show for this month. And thank you to Murdizzle. Phil Lesh will be joining us later, along with Warren Haynes for the encore. But for now, we had got started with Mozambique. You know, okay, that's a Trey song that I like. I believe that's a Trey song, right? Like an old Trey song. And not what I would call a great opener, but fine for just if it's probably the only time it's ever happened. And then we get into Guyute Ghost back to back. There was a little flubs early in Guyute, but then once it got to the race and then into the party section kind of at the end, you know, they nailed that, well enough. I don't know about nailed it, you know. It's tough to tell live sometimes. And on an audience recording, which we got here, but it sounded all right. And then we get into the Ghost jam, you know, while different, you do start to realize a lot of their jamming over time has been the same. Where in 99, it was kind of like play the song, slowly drift out of the song, but it's still recognizable. And then into sort of like this, we're just going to drift away. Maybe ambient is a correct word. So a lot of that in 99 and throughout, you know. Then we get into after the Ghost. Oh, after the Ghost was Peaches. Now after the small, whoa, what we got here? Damn moth in the car. See that? Was that on camera? Freaked me out. I think it was just a moth. Uh-oh, I blew it. It's a moth. Oh yeah, the Peaches, you know, while they quickly ran through it, it was, and it wasn't perfect. It was much better than I thought, especially that early part of the song really played well. Then you kind of get that transition in the middle to where they head off into what sounds like, I don't know, like a 70s sitcom kind of outro to the song, I guess. But overall, not bad. And like I said, I was a little concerned going into that one. Then just a ripping Moma dance. Later in the first set, just straight Moma dance all the way through. Wish they would have hung on to that one for another few minutes. And we hit a little bit of a lull with Water in the Sky. Water in the Sky, When the Circus Comes to Town, you know, not a lot going on with either of those, and then a really quick run through Back on the Train. It was like right as the jam started, the jam ended, and then Back on the Train ends, and we are now into David Bowie. Well, I gotta say, you know, not to take a dump on your request here, Murdizzle, but that was a pretty lifeless first set, I'd say. Nothing was like horrible, nothing was horribly out of place, it was just all okay. You know, when they say standard, this is what they mean. Really, I mean, if you're a big Moma dance fan, that would be worth going back and listening to. Maybe the Ghost, I guess. If you love David Bowie, I mean, you don't even really need to hear this Bowie. It was just extremely okay, and it was very, very Bowie the whole time. So, all right, but I got high hopes for this second set. I know we got a Piper coming. I think we got a Runaway Jim second set open. Okay, so we are back, and yes, or is it no? The second set did not disappoint, and I mean, look at it, just the song list itself. Runaway Jim, Sand, Piper, Roggae, You Enjoy Myself, Wolfman's Brother, Cold Rain and Snow, while not a Grateful Dead song, a song familiar to Grateful Dead fans, a song they played a lot, and Viola Lee Blues, and even I went full chomper on the Cold Rain and Snow, like, oh yeah, I know this one. That never works out, does it? Damn it. Runaway Jim was like, and much unlike the first set, like where I felt like the Moma dance was pretty killer. And I'm always happy to hear Peaches, the Zappa song. But then it just didn't seem like there was a whole lot there, really. But then the Runaway Jim just seemed like it had a little bit of an extra step to it. Like they had some extra energy going into it. And then Sand, you know, just unlike the first set again, songs that were going smoothly, they just kind of cut them short, you know, played the song as expected, or maybe as written, but not as expected. Not the case with Jim and Sand. And then Piper, you know, not the Piper we're used to right now, where it's just, you know, a minute and a half in, they are just, whoo, they're off to the races. This one took several minutes. I wouldn't say go as far back to say, maybe it was a slow build Piper, but not quite that slow, really. You know, it was medium pace. And then finally, you know, 4.5 minutes in, they're kind of boom, they're off to the races. And then at the end, it was almost like, I don't know what, almost like they were going to go in, like for a split second, I thought I heard that Trey song, The Way I Feel. I mean, we did get a Mozambique earlier in the night, not out of the question. Jesus Left Chicago, maybe it was just kind of this like a little bit of a bluesy feel to it. But then to see what the encore was going to be, maybe there was just some rehearsal backstage throughout the night. Just something going on with a little bit of a bluesy jammy into the Piper there. And then eventually we got over to Roggae. You Enjoy Myself after that. Now, this is where Phil shows up, and Phil doesn't show up till after the Tramps jam. He's like, I'll let you guys do all that silly stuff and your You Enjoy Myself song. And then I'll come out towards the tail end where, there's normally some bass action going on, which is what happened. And then no vocal jam. The vocal jam replaced by like a bass jam, really, with Phil and Mike there. And then eventually... and Phil's bass is just very unusual looking, right? Like, I'm not a big Grateful Dead fan, and I know I've seen him before, but I don't recall looking at his bass guitar and being like, oh, that's weird. But then O'Teal also plays an enormous bass guitar, right? Is it required? Now, I know Phil's like, the little bit I do know is he had somewhat of a classical musical background, I think. I think I got that right with Phil. The voice sounding much better, because then when they got to Cold Rain and Snow, it was great. No need for your Let Phil Sing shirts, just a couple songs on stage. He's already singing. Sounded nice there. I don't know if that was peak Phil or not, but by the time we got to Fare Thee Well, the voice had seen its better days for sure. Oh, and the Wolfman's Brother jam in there. So like I said, almost this whole set was just loaded with F. Zappa 20 favorites there, and... not to mention a sit-in from a jam band legend. And then we get Warren Haynes joins everybody. Phil remains out there for the encore. Viola Lee Blues, and everybody just going to town there. It was like a big all-star jam party basically at that point. And then we got and it was not. It was a good decision to play Cold Rain and Snow. You didn't want to play a Dead tune that was too popular. You didn't want to play just like one of their hits essentially. I mean, the place just would have lost it. You could hear them go crazy when Phil came out, So imagine they had played, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what a good example would be of something. But, they got 20 or 30 songs that people would have just lost their mind for. St. Stephen or something. I don't know. I don't know all the songs Phil sings. So, all right, that about does it. Murdizzle, thank you. Second set, much better than the first. And like I said, I think even without Phil, that would have been pretty killer. Piper, a must-hear. I don't know if it's a must-hear, but you should probably check out that Piper. And Sand and Runaway Jim. I don't know, why not? Just check out the whole second set. The first set, you could live without. Boom, we're out of here. Hey, look, there they are.